And we are live again for our broadcast on the Crone's Crucible. Welcome to anybody who's watching us either live or on video after the fact. We had quite an interesting week last week with some very strange things being found out. Matter of fact, probably as the crew is standing where they are, they probably hear some of the sounds coming up from the floorboards that would drive them crazy. Some little voices singing down below them, a ditty which kind of stuck in their heads to a certain extent. Welcome to the crew tonight. Riz is a little under the weather and apparently has, I don't know, a cold pack on his head or whatever, and has begged off the video for tonight. So you see a black box and a picture of Victor instead of him tonight when the videos go live. But other than that, we are all set to do our exciting stuff, except now my video went crazy. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3. Look, counting up the videos, something went a little crazy here. One of them disappeared. And as it often happens, just before we do it, what's happening with you guys? Lynn, what happened with your Comic-Con?
I have no more flexibility in my lower back. Shit moving around in my seat to get comfortable actually hurts twice as much as just staying put.
What got your back down?
Probably lifting that over 200-pound Voltron lion for the masquerade. Get it on stage.
Oh, ow, that'll do it. Oh, that would hurt.
And then probably being the superhero that I am at con and lifting the 140-pound Mercy cosplayer that twisted her ankle.
Well, you did a lot of heavy lifting today, so that would be...
Oh, yeah.
That would be rough.
Oh, no, that was last night. That was last night. Today I slept till noon.
Oh.
And loved it.
I can imagine. Yeah. So, very good. I'm glad you were able to make it tonight after all the injuries. So, very good. I had just for information on the audience, I had a little bit of a health problem this week, which may eventually, over time, necessitate me having some somewhat minor surgery. So if in the coming weeks we have to have a fill-in or we don't broadcast for a week, that'll be what's going on. I will know this week exactly what they plan to do with it. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good tonight. Apple, and what's up? Apple, what's up with your twins this week? How are they doing for sleeping?
We'll find out. Isaac has physical therapy tomorrow, so get his torticollis looked at, and Carrie's doing good.
His
torticollis is when the neck. Torticollis is when the neck muscles are such that your head stays in one direction.
Is it because of like muscle pulling, or?
It's because Carrie was sitting on him during the gestational period.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so she basically broke his neck. Got it.
Wasn't there like an epidemic of that a while back?
Well, no. Well, it's flathead is the major thing that's going on these days because sleeping on the back reduces SIDS risk, but it also produces flatheads. And with torticollis, because your head wants to stay a particular direction, it also promotes flathead. So they're both doing good, aside from just a couple things that, by virtue of being premature twins and a bunch of other stuff, they're kind of SOL on. Like they had like all the risk factors for this, so.
Well, I'm glad they're doing as well as they are. There could have been a lot of problems, and we're really glad that they didn't have any such. So that's terrific. We lost Mike.
Sorry, I heard
No,
a
yeah,
few
I'm
years
cutting the
ago
lens.
there were a whole lot of kids with their heads stuck on one direction, but these days they're all fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that joke.
Yeah, with the physical therapy, like it's usually just a matter of he can't. The thing is, it's not like it's not like a thing where the muscles are too short because he can turn his head all the way. He just chooses not to,
Mm.
and all of his other cognitive things and social stuff is, normal.
That's good.
So he just He just qualifies for physical therapy early intervention. So eventually, the physical therapist will come to our house.
Very
That'll make
good.
things easier, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, very good.
an auntie and a cousin are coming over tomorrow to deal with the other children while we take him to physical therapy.
Well, very good. I'm glad they're doing so well. Anybody else have any major things happening in their life?
I got an amusing one. My baby has figured out how to crawl backwards. She can scoot herself backwards really well. She can't do forwards.
Yeah,
That was the same as with my little sisters.
yes. Yeah. That's not uncommon that you have kids that figure out the reverse better. In the case of my daughter, she figured out, and Mike's mom, I might add, she figured out how to roll without actually crawling. So she just rolled everywhere until she bumped into anything, kind of like one of those little
And the kids
vacuum
keep
cleaners.
rolling, and rolling.
That
So yeah, that was pretty funny. Okie doke. Anyone else before we take off for tonight? Very
Yeah,
good.
let's kill some vampires.
Yeah. All
We
right.
haven't ran into any vampiric sources since I got access to the daylight spell.
We're still gonna fight. We're still gonna find and kill them. I don't care. We're gonna kill vampires.
I'm sorry,
There
Rosie.
is-
We're killing vampires. It might be Victor. It might not be. Depends on what Victor does.
Vampires, vampires, vampires.
Let's not taunt the
I'm a
GM.
van- giving vampires to
You
fight.
might jinx it, you know. So when we left off last week, you had gone upstairs, as you can see, the outside of the monastery building here, and you kind of are represented on the upstairs and the corner that you're on. Ramparts would extend off to the left, and the four of you who are on the left are outside on the rampart area where those stuffed scarecrow knights were positioned up there. And across the way at the far end of the rampart, you could see a door which Dirok suggested probably went into the church. You have just entered into a door on the closer end to the camera, and you found a Vistani woman in a barracks area. She was very well armed and was prepared to defend herself. She didn't know who was entering after having heard all the fighting and so forth going on nearby. She was quite concerned. Turned out that she was cooperative. She seemed to be friendly and spoke about, as you started to find out a little bit about her, you found out that she was the student of a man named Van Richten. And bells went off in your head, but it took you a while to figure out who Van Richten was. And at that point, we will take up the action with her she's still got her hand on her hilts of her weapons, but she's kind of got them pointed down at the floor, and she's not as threatening. You also notice one other detail about the woman, and you can see it in the picture if you look closely. She seems to have one leather boot on and one wooden boot on. And with that, we will take up.
Van Richten. Vlad turns to Opotus, who's also in the room. Wasn't that the name of the carnival driver in Valaki? The pseudonym.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
She
I
raises,
remembered the actual name.
she raises an eyebrow. And she says, "You know Van Richten? That is not his pseudonym. He goes by something else as his pseudonym. You spoke of the carnival. What other name do you know him by?"
We know
I
him.
just remember a beautiful tiger.
She looks.
Oh,
Talking about
First-
Rictavio.
First of all, is Victor in the room? Because he was still out on the rampart when last seen.
I feel like I went along. Did I not?
Well, you're just right outside the door, but you stayed around, weren't sure what was going on. You stayed back around kind of where the stairwell came up, and so you are at most out on the... So just move your token. If you are up behind a POTUS, go ahead and put it there. But say again about Van Richten, what was it? Several of you were talking at once.
Do you mean Rictavio?
I
ooh,
believe
good memory,
Van
Duroc.
Richten is his actual name. I believe Octavio is his pseudonym.
Exactly. You do know him. I am glad to know this. Is he well?
Well, about that,
Don't know.
yes, but he kind of ran off with his tiger into the woods and we haven't seen him since.
Why would he do that?
Well, the villagers were idiots and they tried to kill him, but we stopped that, and then he took the tiger and went. No, let's be real. The villagers were being idiots.
Well, they were
They
being
were
idiots. They tried to kill the tiger and arrest Rictavio for the disruption. We managed to let the tiger to escape, and Rictavio leapt on its back, escaping with it.
You and I remember events somewhat differently. In any case,
You know what? You were glowing and standing on a platform. I don't know. You know it was very well, but I remember the villagers were being retarded.
I was also more
they were
preoccupied
being
with trying to prevent the
stupid.
death of the Baron.
Well, yeah. See, you were over yonder. We were over there, and I remember the villagers being stupid and trying to do something even more stupid. And Rictavio got away on the tiger, and that was about the sum of it.
I laugh when she says that. Oh wait.
Was Rictavio one of the other Walker children?
No,
No,
Rictavio was the
the-
carnival head.
He was
Yeah.
the carnival master, the one that
The Voctor
away
brothers
on the
let the
tiger.
tiger.
Yes.
Yeah, the Voctor brothers did the dumb and let the tiger out, and then screamed like it attacked them.
It, in any
I
case, yes, we know Richten.
So you do know Rictavio. I am glad to hear this. But he has escaped into the woods, you say. That is very interesting. I will have to go check out his house and see if maybe he is there.
He has a house?
Well, of
We can
sorts.
walk you there.
It is a house of
Sorry,
sorts. He lives in the woods at times. He has a history here, a long history here.
Is he well known to associate with you-know-whose forces?
Hardly no. He is very much a sworn enemy. But who are you?
And how
Tell
does
me
he
who
sur-
you
then
are.
how-
I am not going to tell you everything I know until I know who you are.
Oh no.
I
Glad you asked.
I am Evdo Bintaexi Potus. General Commander of the Dawn Watch and what was the title that I put? Commandant of Valaki, something like that.
Close enough.
Remember your own complicated titles.
You're one to talk.
Remember my own complicated titles.
General Evdaminte Exi, POTUS of the Dawn Watch, and yeah, Commandant of Valaki.
And you, Vlad, you said a name that I remember from my youth. It is very odd that you have brought this up. You came, yes, from Berez, you think, maybe?
Okay. Originally, my family was from Barovia. My parents managed to hide me when the devil attacked, and through some sort of holy means, I managed to escape, and now I'm back.
Aw,
Love is
little
like
prince.
Yara, yes.
Yes, your father was the burgermeister of Berez. He was well known to the devil, and the devil decided to end him. You are fighters of the devil, I assume?
Well,
Against
fighters
the devil.
Yes.
Something like that. They want to say yes, I want to say I'm just along for the ride.
I mean, we've been working against him. We can all agree on that.
You don't give yourself enough credit, Sylvia. You and Monarch almost single-handedly took down the tree.
They did single-handedly take down the tree.
Yeah, no,
Actually-
we kind of did.
I'm not sure that refers to single-handedly. There was 4 hands there.
You know,
I
semantics.
smack Alex.
Semantics. You should just let the bard tell the stories.
I just smack him.
The two of you took down the tree basically by yourselves.
And then we also took care of the witch downstairs for the most part.
They're the best. They're the best lumberjacks in Barovia.
Don't forget the goo babies in the mill. That was kind of really not planned.
She looks back and forth at you guys as you are chattering about this, listening very carefully to what you're saying, as if she's trying to search you out to see exactly who you are and what you are. Then it seems that you have been fighting his forces here, and I can perhaps share a bit more. If Rictavio shared things with you and you knew that he had another name, then it appeared that he trusted you as well. Perhaps I can trust you. I will tell you this. Rictavio van Richten, his son was killed many, many years ago when he was still a young father, and he was involved with Berez and attempted to save members of the family in Berez. It would seem that he is woven with your past, Vlad. He has fought the devil, and he has worked with me. I am also one who stands against him, unlike some of my other people who are servants of his.
Well, we might be changing that fact around. We didn't help that one family with their kid, even though she's a little brat.
You didn't help much with that, though.
Actually, yeah, most of the time you were busy killing someone else at that time.
Someone who deserved it.
These
Yeah,
were
very much so. He was actively trying to murder me.
these were Vistani you speak of.
No, there was a. Well, I mean,
well,
technically, maybe.
What
I'm not really
happened
sure.
was there was a Vistani camp near. There was a Vistani camp in Valaki who's the chieftains. The
You know
leader's
what?
daughter had been captured by one of the Valaki fishermen. We rescued her, and the bard and the fighter were attacked by one of our. I hesitate to call him a companion.
You know what? Let's just call him what he is.
He was a prisoner, and now that I think about it, I would really like some lobster claws.
No, it rotted away.
Well, I mean,
Strasny.
just
What about
Yeah, he's dead.
Strasny?
Yes. Strasny is dead.
I am glad to hear this. More and more I hear good news from you.
I pull out Strasny's battle axe. You're looking at the one who killed him.
Well, we made it easier for you, Duroc. Just pointing that out.
She kind
You
of
did not give the killing blow.
she
We
kind
let
of
you have the killing
salutes
blow, my
you
love.
and says, "Very well. All right, you are people that I can share a little of this information with. Then you have set me at ease. I am Esmeralda de Avenir, and long ago my family, my immediate family, I am ashamed to say, was responsible for the kidnapping of Van Richten's son. They sold him to Strad as a thrall. Then I later came to Van Richten in an attempt to apologize and to help him find his son, hopefully before anything bad would happen to him. But unfortunately, he had already found his son when I arrived. The son was turned by Strad, and he begged his father to end his torment. His father had to put the sword to his own son. He almost killed me in anger, but when I spoke and told him of how sorry I was, he forgave me and took me on as his student. He hunts. He is a vampire killer. He has many techniques, and that tiger of his is one of them, to hunt the vampires and the werewolves that live in these woods. She motions to her wooden shoe, her wooden boot, and she says, "The werewolves bit off my leg from the knee down. What you see here is a wooden thing that looks like my boot. Luckily, I was able to get medicine to prevent me from turning, and I do not have the curse of lycanthropy, but they are a
That's good.
terrible group."
So, werewolves out in the woods, you say?
Yes, they are not far from where Van Richten lives. I assume he has gone there, to his house.
Hmm. Probably not the safest place to be.
These werewolves, how are they shaped? Like normal wolves or man-like wolves?
They can be all three. They can look human, they can look like a human with fur, and they can run as a pack. They have been given special powers by the devil. They serve him.
This medicine you speak of, how did you obtain it?
The Vistani have some ways to prevent the curse from taking over. It is not something you would like to have happen to you if you were not desperate. It is a very painful process to remove the curse and the disease.
Does it have something to do with the elder leaf?
The elder leaf is part of it. It is only a small portion, however.
Do you know this? Do you know how to make the medicine yourself?
Not I. I am not an alchemist. But I nearly died in the process of having the medicine administered to me. And there is a ritual as well which must be performed. You see, it is not just a disease, it is a curse. And the curse must be removed. But it is painful to go through.
Oh, I'm out.
Well,
I feel like I've dealt with a vampire or a werewolf at some point. I don't. Remind me, is it just like any bite, or do you feel like that would spread much faster?
It's well, is he asking that in character?
In character.
Well, the thing is, it is with any bite. However, it is not a guarantee with the bite. It spreads like a disease. So if
So it's like
and most
like
of the
rabies. I understand.
somewhat, and most of the people who would be bitten are generally people who live on the frontier who have a pretty hearty endurance and constitution, so they're less prone to illness in general.
In any
So,
case,
what I'm hearing is there's like a 50-50 chance you will die if you are bitten. So again, once again, I'm out. Bye.
There's also the fact that werewolves tend to need a lot of food, so anyone they usually bite is probably more likely to get eaten, yes.
They
That's
can
kind of-
bite you and spread the disease to you so that you can become one of them. They sometimes do this intentionally. And she frowns very deeply and makes a very angry face. And she says, they often steal children to do this to them to increase the numbers when they have had deaths among their kind. They bit me and the disease was coursing through my veins, but I
Epotus
escaped.
slowly looks at
and-
Iraq.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
escaped, and my people cut off what remained of my leg at the knee.
As this conversation goes on, it's increasingly clear that it was a good idea for me to stay outside.
He's just sitting there. He's like, God, where's my perfume? Where's my perfume?
Yeah, the second that the I guess the Vistani lady mentioned they kidnapped children, it was basically like Sylvia's like, and now we're pulled into this one.
Yep.
God damn that magic word. Why couldn't it have been please or thank you? No, it had to be they're kidnapping children.
Yep.
Off goes the barbarian.
So
Off
I
goes
make-
the
I make
moral.
so now I make a beeline. I'm shoving everyone out of the way.
Whoa,
So-
we don't know where they are.
Nope. I'm making a beeline straight to Esmeralda. Do you know what children are being taken? Where from?
The villages, they will sneak in at night, and if a child is not close to home, is not being protected, they will snag a child and carry them away to their den.
Do you know if that's happened? I went black. Sorry. Do you know if that's happened here?
Here,
We
where?
know that
At the monastery?
the village that surrounds the monastery. We know that there has been some trouble with children, with them dying and resurrecting. We don't know if there was anything else happening.
I cannot tell you for sure. I can tell you that all of the villages, Barovia village, Kolaki, and Krezk, have all had children at one time or another taken. What has happened recently, if you speak of recently, I do not know. I simply know that the werewolves are very dangerous and are part of Strahd's pack of wolves.
Well,
That
nearing in on our quarry, we should probably weaken his position before we move any further.
I agree. But now a question comes up. We know that normal wolves are under Strahd's influence. Does he control them directly? Or do these werewolves that are under Strahd, do they control them?
Strahd controls the packs of dire wolves and normal wolves that run. They run at his command. As for the werewolves, he controls their survival, and they are pledged to him in order to maintain their pack.
They're vassals.
Yes, that would be a good word.
So it could be said that their loyalty may be questionable under certain circumstances.
With the one that currently rules the pack, I forget his name. He is a dark one. There was recently, some months ago, there was a feud between two leaders, two alphas, and they nearly killed each other. One of them went away for a while, and when he came back, he had all of Strahd's wolves at his back. And he came back to the werewolf pack, and he said that Strahd was very angry with the other leader, and that he had been given permission to kill him. The other leader ran off into the woods and has not been seen since.
I'm sorry. I have to ask this question to sate my own curiosity. This is an awful lot of information that you know.
Yes,
You know, gossip travels.
it is my sworn duty to hear what is happening. It is why I am here. It is why I am at the monastery.
So, okay, let's go back. Actually, let's go back to that for a second. Why exactly are you here? And does this crazy person who runs this show know about your affiliation?
You see his insanity. I am glad to see that. Many people are fooled by him.
It's for him. I would think it's complicated. It sounds like he's trying to do the right thing, but clearly is not doing the right thing.
The man, if you can call him a man, he is totally insane. He is possessed by his own rightness, sure that he is doing right, and he is only making it worse.
He is naive and arrogant in the same breath. That much I'll give you. But, yeah, that's as far as I'll go with that one.
He has made this latest creation of his, and he does not know that I work for, or have worked for, and with Van Richten. I need to tell you, Van Richten and I did not part on the best of circumstances the last time I saw him, because we had disagreements about how we were to approach the situation with the devil. But nevertheless, I still consider myself very much his student. And I have not told anyone this information besides you, but you have convinced me that I can. The abbot does not know. He thinks I am one of the regular Vistani, and that I am merely a Vistani being sent to keep an eye on his progress. Yes, he just thinks that I am one of the others. But I am here to gather information, because often he knows where and when Strahd may be here.
You're taking an awfully huge risk to be in this place.
I take risks with my every breath. I have sworn to kill the devil, just as Van Richten has.
Noble cause. Not sure where we go from here, though. On one hand, it seems like dealing with, well, on one hand, it seems like dealing with the wolves would be follow our strategy of take out all the supports of the villain that rules this land, and then knock him over. On the other hand, I think that's going to be the only option, because I'm pretty sure Duroc has made his decision, and typically he doesn't listen to us.
No, I just don't listen to you.
That is a fair point.
Everyone else I'll take into consideration.
In any case, these werewolves are a threat that should not be allowed to remain. And I would personally like to speak with Van Richten once more.
I am
Do
curious about
you-
something.
Do you have a map?
We do have a map.
Right here.
Unroll it here on the table, please.
Or you can use your cheat sheet if you'd like.
Oh god, Dirk, seriously, is that what you're calling this thing?
Exactly what it is.
Okay, not everyone has the greatest memory like you do. Some of us need pieces of paper that tells us how to do things.
Some of us can read.
You know what? I wasn't going to be.
mean.
See, I wasn't
That
going
was
for
very
fun.
mean. If Darok had feelings, they would be hurt.
I think they just did. Anyways, I'm gonna just start unrolling the map and just helping it get pinned down on the table.
She taps the city of Krezk, where you are, of course, which would be over here on the west side. And she says, and here, this is Van Richten's residence.
Didn't we pass
That-
by there at some point?
That island? I knew there was something with that little, or not island, inlet, whatever it's called, peninsula. I knew there was something going on with that area.
Oh, looks like we're gonna have to go double back and take a visit.
The werewolves
I-
live at the end of his lake up here. The lake is fairly higher than the cave itself, but they live in a cave there at the end of the lake. And there are some other things that you should probably know about, because there are dangerous forces that will probably be used against you if he can manage to do so. And she proceeds to point out several things. She says, this building here that is indicated is a very, very large fortress. It was once ruled by a silver dragon, they say, but this was long before I was born. Strahd was enemied to this dragon, and the dragon attempted to bring down Strahd, but Strahd arrayed all of his forces against the dragon and instead defeated it. What remains there I am not sure, but the dragon had a great force of knights that were called the Silver Knights that fought beside him and fell. And part of what was arrayed against them was at this temple here, and she motions down in the lower part of the map. This here is a large temple called the Amber Temple. Once, eons ago, it was the home of great and very wise and good wizards who attempted to bury all of the evil items that they found in the world, in the plains, and to contain it under a great mountain. But Strahd found out about it, and so did the evil which created him. And they destroyed the wizards, and now the evil rules that temple. That evil is the heart of what makes Strahd, and it is the evil that causes the mist to surround this land. That is the heart of the terror that creates Barovia. That whole area from the Argynvost Hold all the way down to the Amber Temple is a dangerous, dangerous area, and right in the heart lies the sunken village of Berez, your home, lad.
I point to, what was it called again? The Argrisvols
Argynvost
Yeah,
Hold.
I point to that area and I tell her, I think you're mispronouncing that. It is Angry Vast House.
She smiles and says, that probably would not be inappropriate. I imagine there was a lot of anger there.
I
However,
remember seeing a broken sign. That's what the sign said.
the Lord Argynvost was the one who had the fortress, and it is said that he was very close to the dragon. The myth says that he was the dragon, but I cannot say for sure. So you have a great many things here that
note-taking going on.
you have a great many things here that cause the evil of this land, and I have spent my life ever since I first assisted Van Richten. I have spent my life trying to find out the truth of all the things here and why Strahd cannot be defeated. And these are why. Until they are reduced in power, he has a great army at his back, and it was that he arrayed against Lord Argynvost.
What can you tell us about Krezk?
It is sunken, and at Strahd's permission, an evil woman moved in there and took over the village. She creates terrible monstrosities out of the plants, and she is one of Strahd's evils. What can I say?
More plant monsters.
She,
Jirok, I may be asking you for that axe. That axe?
I believe Victor still has it.
Yeah, Victor is just lugging it around.
Victor, I may be asking you for that axe.
Oh, he's not in the room.
Hey, Victor!
Pay attention, boy.
Hey, Victor!
Come here, boy.
I'm too tired to keep track of everything that's going on. In any case, we are no strangers to these plant monsters.
Yes, she has set them upon a
They,
great many places.
They
Did
cannot-
Did she set them on Yester Hill?
Oh yes, I am quite convinced that it was her creations, that her corruption, that she grew there and corrupted the plants of Yester Hill.
Do you know of what was it called? Do you know of Winter Splinter?
It is a legend of a great tree that was supposed to protect the hill of the area. I know that he turned evil because of her magic.
Yes.
Not so much a myth.
This myth is very much true, and now it is at an end. They,
Another evil that you have
The
ended.
corrupted druids. The corrupted druids woke up Winter Splinter, and our measly group managed to destroy it before it could cause any real harm.
Fire is the best.
Excellent. One more evil that I can breathe a sigh of relief over, but there is still so much power to be defeated before Strahd can be brought down.
Vlad looks at us and says, I don't think it is the best idea to attack head-on. At least not at the moment.
Well,
No, we should definitely clear these areas first.
the abbot spoke of possibly Strahd coming to see his bride. I have been waiting here in hopes that maybe I would find a lucky way to use one of my arrows.
That would be foolhardy.
I
You will
agree
get
with
killed.
Jirok. Until we can at least reduce his powers, I don't believe any attempt on his life will be successful.
It is best to try to figure out how to continue to weaken him into a state that we can defeat him. Right now,
Yeah.
he is still too strong to fight.
Be aware, he is supposed to arrive tonight, and it is already late. The sun is setting.
He's coming tonight. This is news.
Suddenly,
Hi.
Epotus is like, oh, hey, I'm awake now.
Sweet, I just got tomorrow. Burn?
This is so bad.
I grab my spear. I feel ready.
How late tonight?
He always comes during the
Um,
night. You do not know when he will appear.
Epotus, just by instinct, looks up at the basically always dusk sky and then looks back to her.
Yes, it is always dark out, but it, as you know, if you have been here any length of time, it gets totally dark at night. So dark you can almost not see your hand in front of your face, and that is when the dangers prowl the woods.
Can we go hide, please?
Maybe we probably shouldn't be attacking him at first.
Maybe
Why
we
is he-
should just wait. And he looks at Dirok and says, it's kind of just that moment where it's like, 3 weeks ago they were going to punch each other, like a few months ago they were going to punch each other in the face, but now...
Few months.
I mean, I
Few
kind of still
hours
want
ago.
to. I kind of still want to, but I recognize the greater threat right now, and it is definitely not a POTUS.
See, Epotus is sitting here going, now, what could I do with some werewolves?
See, here's the thing: Derek kind of wants to be a werewolf.
Hi, Grog.
Oh my god, you're Travis Willingham.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking
Dork.
of.
Super dorks, no.
Be my barbarian wet dream.
You're such a turd. Anyways,
And there again is some of that adult speak we try to keep from the kiddies, but it
And
happens
here
once
it
in a
is for
while.
this week.
That's why I said it this way and not another way that I know I would get in trouble for.
Right.
anyways, moving on. But yeah, so if he's showing up tonight, can we leave
There are
now,
children
please?
present.
Oh,
Are you
there
holding
we
up your
go.
baby for this?
There we go. He's got
Are you holding up your baby for this?
he's brought his minion along.
You are holding up the wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Good
carry. It's
There
a carry.
are children present. Where are my pearls? I need to
Oh
clutch them.
god.
You said he is coming tonight.
I did. Yes. He is at least.
How long-
Why did
That
the
is what the
not
abbot
tell
believes.
us this?
That
How long until nightfall?
the DM speaks here. The voice comes out of the ether and says, "It's probably only about 2 hours until it gets really dark."
Let's go hide back in the village, maybe.
We should
Unless you wanna-
definitely rest. I do not fancy facing off with him now.
How
I do.
about we? No,
I kind
everyone.
of don't.
No.
I am like at half health, and I don't have my relentless endurance anymore.
Okay, here's the thing. I died like twice, I think. I don't know. My memory went from I'm here to why do I not know anything anymore?
I don't know. I feel
No.
like if he could just drop us like in one go like that, we would have already seen him do it.
Arrogance makes men do dumb things. He wants us to-
Exactly.
Okay, there's arrogance and there's arrogant people with power. Normally, arrogant people with power don't have to go showing off that they have power because they're just, they see us as ants. I'd rather continue to still be the ant that he doesn't need to pay attention to for a little longer.
All we need to do is hold him down, and then Vlad can bring in
So I'm fine with that.
the sun.
There is a concern, though.
I can in a large amount of pain, but I don't think it will be enough. Not now. Not yet.
There
And
is a
you're also
concern.
attacking him at
What is
night
that?
when he's strongest? Insanity.
Speaking of insanity, we don't know if the abbot will decide to side with him. And we know the abbot is extremely powerful.
Not only
You
that, my friends,
Yeah.
but Strahd, when he comes out like that, never comes without his forces, especially if he is making an appearance.
All right then. So, do we leave or do we hide in the town?
What if we hid here?
I don't know that that's wise because I don't know about Dirok, but I would have difficulty restraining myself if he were that close.
And I, for one, do not trust the abbot not to mention that you are here, which may play exactly into his hands.
Unless it's exactly what he's not expecting, and then he shows up and we invite him to tea.
But then he might know that we know what he thinks that where we are.
wait,
that
stop.
I'm going.
Stop.
We're gonna
Stop
stop you
before
right
he gets
there.
to Australia.
We're gonna stop you right there.
There's also the fact that he could probably sense Victor, and he would give us away unintentionally.
should
her
not
head
stay here.
flips around to look at the man standing in the doorway, and her eyes narrow. Why would
No,
he?
you,
Why?
Sylvia.
You
Sylvia is going to put herself between the girl and Victor. You
No.
don't touch him.
I am not touching him, but I wish to know why Strahd would know of him.
Victor
Strahd
suddenly
killed
finds
him.
himself pulled into the conversation.
Strahd killed him before.
We don't know if it was actually
Eh.
him, though.
I'm trying to bluff here. You guys, shut up!
Being honest here. Honest, best answer.
I will smack you!
It's okay. I'm not a devotion paladin. I don't care if anyone.
She
I was gonna say,
crosses
it's
her
totally an
arms.
exaggeration.
She crosses her arms and takes a very defiant stance. I will tell you no more until I know why Strahd knows of him.
He is,
I just told you, Strahd killed him before. We brought him back.
You resurrected him?
See, look, I'm all in one for lying about certain things, but look.
Shut up!
If we're
You're
going to be working together, we're going to be honest about this. He's helping us to fight Fangy McFang fuckface over here, who's probably coming for some zombie bride in that 5 seconds.
Stroud.
Here's the deal. He's with us. We vouch for him. I vouch for him. You touch him because you know what he really is, I'll gut you faster than you can count.
Why?
Hell, I have a little intimidation too.
Why do you think I would want to kill him?
allow me. This calls for a certain subtlety that I think I'm the best producer.
Together.
Simply put,
Went bad.
simply put, he's a vampire.
Yep.
And
Sylvia's still standing her ground.
He's a vampire who I have an arrangement with.
Oh, very curious. It is strange that in these times that such things should appear. And she cranes her neck around Sylvia, who's trying to block her vision, and looks.
Don't
at
worry.
Victor.
Oh no, Sylvia's short. She probably doesn't have to crane very hard.
Trying to make some shit up.
He'll be dealt with in time, but we have a more important vampire to deal with right now.
Stranger and stranger that vampires stand against vampires. Strahd himself has turned you.
Well, nothing,
She's asking Victor.
not exactly, but close enough.
Perhaps a vampire that Strahd turned him. Maybe Strahd is somewhat like his grandfather. We're not entirely sure the relation.
Ugh. 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 Do not use such a word.
What? You don't want to say hi to Grandpappy?
Ugh. Victor turns and lifts his mask slightly and spits on the ground.
There, you see, even the name, even mentioning any sort of relation to Strahd sends him to get quite upset.
Wasn't there a rule about saying his name?
Strahd, Strahd, Strahd.
Look,
I
he's
do
coming
not
here
fear-
anyway. At this
Now
point,
he
it
did.
doesn't even matter.
Now he knows that we're here.
I do not fear the dead.
I don't know. I kind of prefer just butchering his name for the sake of the humor. Stroud. Stroud. Stroud.
I myself.
Why
am
don't you go and do
personal-
what you were gonna do whenever you
Sans-
said his name?
Sandstorm Strarude.
At which point Sylvia takes out her hand puppet and goes,
No, that's still staying hidden.
Oh no, I was talking to Alex. Specifically, why don't you go and take a leak and start saying his name?
I personally am partial to Thingface.
I like that name.
How
Maybe
nippy.
I will use it from now on. So, we waste time here, and the dark approaches. What are you going to do? I, for one, am going to remain and watch, because they do not know my connections, but
I am not subtle at all. I should not remain.
Durak would like to remain, but I know that I am not strong enough.
He would have a hard time smelling us if we hid out in the stank house.
That can be pretty.
I'm not
cool.
doing that either.
You were the one that's been complaining about it this whole time we're here. Now you want to stay in it?
Duroc, in the grand scheme of great storytelling, especially when you've got heroes trying to fight a big bad evil, information gathering is the king. We can learn a lot by observing from one of the windows inside of that stank ass house.
and down,
No, actually.
down from the floorboards you hear those little distant voices singing.
We'll make sure we barricade certain doors.
I promise you, if we stay in there, I will kill someone. I'm just letting you know now.
Look,
Best to
it's
tie
an
you down then.
Look, it's an idea, and we don't have a lot of options with very little time.
I still say that we leave. The Abbey at the least.
I say we leave for one of our new targets. Preferably
I agree.
preferably to go find Van Richten.
In fact, if he's coming here and he usually brings forces with him, and that means other places are left less guarded.
That is also true.
So he may bring certain numbers of the wolf packs with him, which would mean the wolf dens are less populated.
Which is why I like to go to Van Richten since the wolf den is nearby.
Then let's do that, because we've been standing here for about an hour talking to this poor wolf.
What about
You also
Monarch?
must think of the fact that these forces are coming in at the same time we are trying to go out.
That is why we would not go by the main roads. Clearly, the main roads are the most direct paths as far as the land is concerned. Thus, if you're bringing a large force with you, you travel best on the road.
He has a flying horse. Do you think he's gonna travel the roads?
Then we would want tree cover between us and him. We won't be able to do a fire tonight.
And still you're
Another-
making the good points. What of Monarch?
Isn't he doing research?
We can just let him know that his cover is simply he's traveling the countryside and he's studying at the abbey. He's self-declared himself to be a monk.
You might just, Celia, you might want to ask the abbot about Monarch.
Excuse me.
Since it was at
Okay,
the
so in that
abbot's
so
permission
we're on the
that he went in.
balustrade, right? So Epotus turns around, "Hey, Abbot!"
And
I hate that guy.
the Costello looks up from the courtyard, and he calls up, "Yes, my son. What is it?"
We're curious on what your stance on our companion monarch was.
Also, did you know you have ants?
Shut up, Vlad.
Ants. I have ants. Why do I have ants?
You know, the small bugs.
Yes,
Because your father had sisters. Ha ha ha!
Oh my god, get out of here. Just go away. God damn you.
You see what I put
Well-
up with?
Well, you see, if you drop a box of donuts, that's how you get ants.
Where do I have ants? I will send the mongrel
Forget about the ants. Where
Why
is
did
this
you mention the
person?
ants? You know he gets distracted.
Where's
Where's Monarch?
He decided to explore the church.
Very good. If he manages, would you permit him to stay if he so chose to?
The abbot kind of strokes his face and looks back towards the church and says, "Oh yes, I will permit him to stay."
All right. And how far
he's
down?
actually-
How far down is the what's the height difference here?
10 feet to jump
Oh
down
yeah,
to the
Harry
court.
Potus just jumps down.
Roll a 1d6. You took 3 falling damage.
Vlad will telepathically tell his horse to come over to the ledge so that he may land on
And,
the horse instead.
He strides over and says, "I have a request from you from one devout to another.
What is that, my son?
Tell no one of our passing through. I'm a little embarrassed of certain things."
Oh, you should not be embarrassed to be here, my son.
It is not here. There are certain other associations that I would rather not anyone who might be passing through these parts to be aware of in my travels.
I pick up on it and say, he's embarrassed of me. I embarrass him many times for some reason.
Yes, I'd prefer not to be known to be associated with him. So could you just mention that we did not pass through here? If you could just not mention us passing through here, I would be most appreciative.
I should mention that you did not pass through here.
You should not mention us at all.
I'll specifically ask and then say, who were they? I've never met them. Between
Exactly.
us-
What he said.
How very curious. Don't you want to stay and see her being presented to her husband? It would be a wonderful
And therein
thing.
lies the problem.
I mumble
Therein lies-
myself.
There
Yeah.
lies the problem. I don't believe her husband likes us very much.
He,
Thank you, Vlad, for always being willing to go
Share
the
a
extra
little-
mile.
Share a little too much.
We're going the
It's from-
extra mile.
You see, there was an awkward moment when we first met him.
Actually, no.
Dirok said something a little out of line.
Enough. Look,
Oh,
our
oh,
intentions
Steve.
are a surprise. We are trying to find the best wedding gift for him, so we're going to leave to make sure we get it. We don't want him knowing that we're going to surprise him with it.
Precisely.
Oh,
We're trying
Oh,
to
We're
get
gonna make
him
up
on
for
his
the
good
first,
side.
our first meeting.
Celia, you guys realize we've already said that we're against Strahd and that we're trying to take him down.
Not to the abbot.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
actually
have,
did.
actually. I
Sounds like you
remember
forgot,
this.
so let's not bring it up.
You must stay, however. You must help me get a wedding dress for her. She cannot be married until we have a wedding dress. This is terribly
Well, then,
important.
then we need to go get one, but just let us go and don't mention we were here because we need to surprise him. How would you like to? Do you want him to know that you don't have a dress for her yet?
Oh, that would be upsetting, yes. I would like you to ask the
But people don't get
burgomaster
married
in the
right away.
town if perhaps he knows of someone who might be able to provide a wedding dress for her.
I would be more than happy to take my associates to go look in town to see if we can find someone who has an appropriate piece of attire for her. Just until we return or until the dress arrives, please do not let his lordship know that we were here, because otherwise it might ruin the surprise and it might look poorly upon your presentation if you don't yet have the dress.
Yes, we have to keep him happy because this is the only way Barovia will ever be free, my son. Not by violence, not by violence.
Of course not.
I don't think I ever really picked up on the level of insanity he had.
Are you? Could you inform me what the budget is?
Oh,
You know what?
I would expect that
Epotus just holds a finger up.
I would expect that any person wishing to have the welfare of Barovia at heart would donate such a thing.
So that's a big ol' zip then.
But we'll make do. Don't worry. Let's just get going before we ruin the surprise.
Yes, we'll be sure to ask around. Ta-ta!
I grab Alex before he can start talking again and just hurry him out.
That was my story.
Go pick up your child.
All right, getting you back
Actually, go play with
onto.
my child. I'll be right back.
You go tromping frantically down the stairs or jump down or whatever you're going to do. Anybody else jumping down?
Nope, I'm a sane person that's gonna go and walk down the stairs because that's what they're there for.
I'll wait till Duroc gets to the bottom and then go catch me and then throw myself.
Vlad telepathically tells his horse to come over to the ledge so he can land on the horse instead of on the ground.
Yeah, because the horse is tall, so it's only like a 5-foot drop.
Yep.
Why is this a scene?
Is it like that scene?
like
Is it
out
like that
of-
scene in Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Well,
Woman,
that and
woman in tights.
there was one from what was it? Some Zorro the Gay Blade with George Hamilton, and he tried to jump on the horse. And with the title of the movie, you can imagine some of the humor that would have occurred with it.
Would you like me to make a roll?
For what?
Please have him do an acrobatics check.
Jumping on the horse.
Yes,
Please.
please.
Yes.
Nat 1 fall.
Yes.
Nat 1 miss.
I
Miss.
like how you
Yes.
all are
Yes.
so eager to
Yes.
see me fail.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
it's just 'cause-
purely
Because
a
it's
scene out of Zorro
Yes.
the Gay Blade.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss.
I will inform you beforehand. I have a +0 modifier to this. So
I'm just
there's
assuming.
a straight roll.
I'm just saying it's a 5% chance you miss entirely. Okay.
Nope.
Actually, he was very determined, and he managed to roll quite well. So he did
You
indeed manage
just
to
glide
land on his
right
own.
in.
Yeah.
Boo.
All right.
Throw a
I'm
piece
still
of
I'm
fetch-
still
I threw a
trying to
fetch
throw
roll at
myself
him.
towards throw myself at Duroc once he gets down to the bottom of the stairs.
I catch
So
him.
I am probably going to be the one who failed any acrobatics attack.
Not unless I actively do go to catch you.
This is also true. But still.
Like I am as I would assume I'm as tall as a horse head height, right? I'm 7
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah, you'd be about equal the horse's head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have her do it. Fail. Nat 1. Nat 1. Nat
Alright,
1.
so acrobatics.
Yep.
Our heroes, everyone.
Not
Roll-
not that bad, but
Roll your strength, Duroc. And let's see if your
Okay.
strength is up to her
That
dropping
one.
on you.
That one. That one. That one.
you purposely.
Now I want to tell you that I will be very sad if I get a nat 1 because I have a +6. Oh wait, no, that's a saving. Is saving throw or
Nat one.
just
They
straight?
say
one.
this can be a saving throw in this case because you're seeing if you are able to withstand her attack.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's a Nat 1 there.
Yeah, there wasn't that one there, but
If you had disadvantage.
Can you just imagine this little tiny waif just lands on him. He just crumple.
Yep, nope. What I can see is I'm walking out, I hear a whoop, and I just instinctively put my arms out for her.
Yeah, and
Don't even look up.
if you hadn't looked up and realized she was coming, she would have hit you with her heels right in the back of your head.
Nah, Sylvia wears flats. She's proud of her like 5'4" and tiny.
Okay, so you guys
I would just say this is one of the
grab
most
your hats and run out of the monastery, saying very quick goodbyes, I assume.
Peace.
Meanwhile, Cloven had moved across the courtyard and into the church building. And as evening is falling, you hear, shortly as you're taking off down the road, you hear the church bell pealing. And as you move away from the monastery, a din starts up in the madhouse area. Lots of noise and yelling and food, 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 coming from all sides. And the last of you who comes out of the courtyard would see Cloven coming back out hauling an enormous kettle towards the madhouse.
Dinner time.
Like a food or
Well, it's
water
a kettle. It's filled with something, and it's rather thick looking. And he is heading for the madhouse and disappears through the door hauling the kettle.
As we are
It's
riding,
bait. It's bait. Don't take it.
as we are riding away from the abbey, Vlad will look over at us and say, "He may know that we are here anyway. I have thought about it. Why in this holy place would there be a room stock full of undead? Unless they were to serve as spies and scouts."
I telepathically communicate to my find steed that it's within a mile and have it go, like, dart around the countryside to spy out the surrounding area.
How long will it be going?
Paladins!
How long will it go?
That's just my order to it to go around. Like I'm using my steed more like a ranger pet.
Yeah, but how long is it infinite that it can just keep doing this?
It just exists now.
Yeah, it's basically it takes 10 minutes to cast and then it lasts until killed, and I can telepathically communicate with it within 1 mile.
Where are you initially heading? There will probably be some results from that, but where are you initially heading? All
Wait,
of you
I think we're
From
heading to the town.
abbey, we're heading back down to the village.
down to Krezk.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hide in the town.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go to Van Richten's.
Well, it's late.
Well-
I thought that-
We're
Or I
guess it's too
traveling
late at night.
So
Yeah.
that was why
Yeah,
I...
never mind.
Do you want to do that? Like,
I mean, yeah, I can.
actually, yeah. Because how long has it been since we actually fought something?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah, technically we did fight something last episode.
Yeah, several of you are down in hit points from having
I vaguely
fought.
remember almost dying in one shot.
I remember dying twice.
So
Whose
you
fault is that?
So you return to the town of Krezk. You remember that the Burgomeister said that he and various members of the town would be happy to put you up as guests, that there was no inn per se in town.
I look for the house with the most lizards around it because that's gonna feel probably. I feel like they're probably gonna be okay with that.
The most lizards, like
Meanwhile,
as
us
in, like as in chameleons or something running around catching bugs. Why would there?
Well, just
There's
I don't
not
know,
a lot
just
of
whatever-
two-footed lizards.
whatever house
running
has the
around.
most little lizards because they're gonna
Okay.
be they're gonna be used to seeing my scaly ass.
You're talking about little lizards. So
That was just lizard folk walking around.
yeah, that's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if they had many of those walking around. You may see an occasional lizard in a garden, but there's not like any one house that has more than others. However, certainly since you came with the wagon load of wine and went through the village, some of the villagers have already seen you once.
I'm the popular guy.
Pretty much, you brought the wine.
For now. For now.
No, Jack. I'm the most popular guy in school.
Okay, so, crazy idea. Crazy idea. Let's not go into any of the houses. Is there a way we can hide the horses?
There's
Well,
From the sky.
I mean, there is plenty of trees. Just I don't know if it's thick enough to be considered hidden.
they are
Well, if there's stuff coming...
they're kind of sparse.
They're gone.
About the only place that you might be able to think of might be some place in town that would be distasteful to people of Strahd's nature. If you are not going
The
to
only thing I
spend the
can
night
think-
with the Burgermeister.
Can
I say
In that case, what's the
go
nicest
first.
looking house?
it would be
Guys-
the Burgermeister's house.
Yeah, he's staying there.
So, here's the thing. I can do this thing. It's like a tiny hut, but it can only fit about 9 bodies. Won't be enough for all the horses. What do you think?
Epotus is staying in the Burgermeister's place.
How about the rest of us? Split the party maybe just a tiny bit and keep a little bit some of us safe?
So my question
Victor,
as DM
in a wild
is,
shape and keep a lookout.
and my question as DM is, does one horse look any different particularly than another, except for the spectral type horses that you holy types have?
I mean, Derek would have
Probably
probably
not.
Derek would have probably made it his horse at least a little more
Chunky?
more like him. So like he has like stuff hanging off of him and whatnot. So he would have probably put like feathers or beads or something on his horse, but that's pretty much it.
You
But-
painted
like-
green.
So you feel that Strahd would recognize them if he saw them?
I don't think Strahd's
I
seen
don't know if he
Strahd
even
hasn't
recognizes
seen us on
us.
horses. Strahd
Yeah,
hasn't seen us on horses before. The
That
only
we
time
know.
he's really seen us is during
foot.
the
Yester Hill.
tree, and we didn't have horses then.
Yeah, that would have been the last time he saw us.
that we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
see
we
that
only
smile.
just got the horses coming to Krezk. We haven't had the horses for what, more than a day, if
Yeah.
that. We've only had them for a few hours.
All right.
So the answer is no. He would not. I don't believe he would recognize our horses.
So what I'm saying is,
The only thing I could think of would be let's spread them out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Just go to the houses and say, "Hey, we need to."
Yeah, just because
We
a,
need to-
a random, like maybe double up, you know, but like a house having a horse or two in front is like seeing a house with a couple cars in the driveway, you know.
Yeah,
the
I'm
house,
just gonna.
the house here with
Sorry.
the noble on it is the one that is the Burgermeister's house.
Yeah, Epotus is going to stay there. And you know what? Nothing says you can't cast your little thing in your room just to keep anybody from coming.
right.
It's not entirely little though. It's a 10-foot radius.
It says tiny hut.
Yeah, but it's a 10-foot radius dome.
Here's the thing: we should spread out the horses, but us as a party should not split up.
This is
What
a,
if?
these are apparently 50-foot squares on here, so it would fill up, you know, a pretty good section of a square. So pretty
Like-
much that house, yeah.
Yeah, no, like we asked the villagers, "Hey, we need to put this horse here or put this horse there, wherever houses are," but we as a party should not split up. We should be together at one house.
No, let's split up. I
Or-
think we can trust Ruth.
basically,
Yeah, we should split the fuck.
sure you can. As I mentioned, there might be a location in the village that might be a little more protective for the hut to be placed.
Oh, oh, the lake, the pond, whatever, holy water.
Vampires do have a problem with water. But that goes
Famous.
for Victor as well.
Specifically
But he's not in
running
it.
water.
But he's
Well,
not
I mean,
in it, so
Yeah, we could just go like right here. I don't know what this is, but like
That's the
we could
gazebo
go there.
where
That's the
gazebo where you found the hilt.
Oh right.
yeah.
you go to-
That place isn't running water, but it's still pretty nasty for vampires because of the general holiness of the place.
yeah.
But I mean, like, you can be on land near it, right? You don't
Is
have to
this-
actually be.
Is this statue big? How big is this statue?
It's
Oh yeah, your little pocket statue.
that one.
No, this statue of the
statue-
guy.
The statue
Stone
in the
statue.
the
That's
statue
a statue in your pocket.
the statue
Oh my gosh.
in the gazebo. The statue in the gazebo is quite large. It's large. It's like 10 feet tall and has arms outstretched towards the rising sun.
Okay, so it's much bigger than an actual person.
Oh yes, this doesn't seem to represent
Rip-
a human.
I will ritually cast Meld into the stone and step into the statue.
So this is like a gazebo where it's like covered from the sky.
Yes.
Epotus looks up at the statue, sees Vlad meld into it, nods, and says, "I did not come all this way to sleep on the ground." He goes to the Burgermeister's house.
Okay. Vlad's in the statue, and by the way, in the statue you cannot cook alchemy, Vlad, so this will not count for your 8 hours of alchemy. And Epotus is in the Burgermeister's house. What about the rest of you?
I'm looking at
I
them
guess
because I
I'm gonna
don't.
go for the tiny hut. Seems safe.
Yeah, if there's room, I might as well go in there. Otherwise, I can keep watch while Wild Shape.
Very
yeah.
good. So the rest
At
of
that
you are
point, Sylvia's just going to find them. Because it also is marked as a ritual, I have to find the safest place and then do this thing. So that's why I was like, trying to make a decision fast.
We have 5 horses.
There's the tiny hut.
We have 5 horses, right?
yes,
Yes.
and a donkey.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm just gonna
that's
like
right.
leave my horse at like the first house that looks like it has a couple of horses, to be like, I'll be back, and run off.
So then,
Epotus can take a couple to the Burgermeister's place. Presumably there's a barn somewhere.
Yes, there would be. They had said that they would help you. They would assist you with any sleeping arrangements or whatever, so you would be able to
So-
find
Suffice
small
to say,
stables.
the horses are spread out.
all right.
Yeah.
Then I'll join the hut team because you said that you can have 9 people in it, right?
9 people, medium size or smaller.
Okay.
Victor, how
You know what's
far
fun?
are you, Victor? How far are you from your usual sleeping arrangement?
Oh,
I believe I left the donkey at kind of the entrance of the abbey, but I would take it down and hide it somewhere in the town.
Okay,
Well,
so
I mean,
it would not be
we
right
probably
next
could
to
fit
you.
the.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be next to me. It's just if I want to get a proper rest, that's where I want to be.
I mean, if you need that casket,
Worst
there I
case
will grab it
scenario.
for you.
And worst case scenario, if I get reduced to 0, I need to be able to get back there within. I want to say it was 24 hours. Could have been 8. I don't remember.
We can always get the cart, or at least the back half of the cart, in the hut.
Or just take the
Yeah.
coffin out. Put it
You
in.
know what's fun about Find Steed? Any spell that targets myself also targets my steed. Therefore, Vlad mounts up onto his horse and then rides into the statue.
Oh, God. That's gonna freak somebody out during services in the morning.
This beautiful spectral beast just like rides through the priest on its back. It's like,
I am your god!
It's like the Forest Temple Ocarina of Time, boss.
Yeah, the
I
Phantom
am
Cannon.
your god.
Oh God.
I
Anyways.
am looking at what would need to be rolled. I think what I need is a Constitution save from Victor for reasons that I will not explain at this point.
Well, I was gonna say if
Alright.
he needs that casket out of his cart, Derek will take it out for him. If he needs to be in his casket or coffin, whatever it is.
I just need to see how. Okay. Alrighty, that will determine some things for later on. Alright, as dark is falling and all of you crawl inside your various residences, Ippotus, who is separated from the others, his steed informs him that a large force of large wolves is moving towards the abbey.
Alright, he gives the command to the steed to kind of make itself scarce, but keep an eye if it can.
Very good.
Tell me if it comes towards the town. That's like basically the.
He can't. You guys chose to sleep in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, if it comes towards
he's
the
over.
town, no. Well,
False.
no. Well, there's trees inside the town. Like we didn't go out into the wood area. Like we figured
Yeah.
we'd stick within the town limits.
Yeah, but the steed is like a mile away. It's like half a mile away outside of town.
It's a horse. It can run.
That would be a little conspicuous.
However, probably this would be along about, say, 8 o'clock at night. It's getting quite dark outside, and the steed has notified Ippotus that this large force is moving towards the abbey, up through the woods. And at the same time that Ippotus gets this message from the horse, Victor begins to feel the hair prickle on the back of his neck. He has not felt this way in some time, and it is very disturbing to him.
Victor actually has almost no hair, but I guess goosebumps.
Right,
There you go.
feel the
Good
goosebumps.
alternative.
You'd feel
I've grown hair.
Yeah, you've grown hair and they're sticking up.
This is doubly alarming.
there is
Victor, so Victor is in the tiny hut, right? He's
yes.
gonna look
Yeah.
around and say, I am not quite healing myself. I may need to step out. You would notice that he's kind of like has
Looks
some
a little
spittle talking, like he has like kind of too much saliva in his mouth.
That is not a good idea, Victor.
So
If Strahd is gonna be, if the devil is not gonna be here, or is gonna be here, you can't be seen outside. He might be able to detect you.
Yes, Victor is going to go ahead and take out his water skin and drink from it.
His water skin.
Yes.
Very good. What is there anything but water in the water skin?
Yes. It has everything but water. It is blood from the last time he filled up.
That clown that he ate.
Okay, so just for visual discretion, because it is opaque from the outside, she's tried to like decorate it as an overlooking bush, like a large bush-looking thing. But from the inside. From the inside, we can see out perfectly, like there's nothing there. So if anything does come,
transparent walls and just
yeah,
comfortable.
Transparent, but she's tried to make it look as camouflaged as possible.
POTUS checks with his steed to see whether it is ahead of the mass or if it's kind of like whether or not it could get here before them.
Get there before who? The wolves?
Before the horde.
Who are you trying
Could
to
it
get?
could it get to a POTUS before? Could the steed get to a POTUS before the horde?
The horde is not headed for the village, it looks like at this point. They are headed towards the abbey itself.
So specifically the abbey, so they're not like coming towards they're not coming through the village. They're like going over the wilderness.
Yeah, they're coming through the woods and heading for the abbey.
He orders the steed to come to the Burgermeister.
Over the river, through the wood.
And he starts putting his armor back on.
And nothing seems to be occurring in the village right around you as this is going on. The village is rather quiet, as is the area around the hut. Although you might, everybody give me a perception roll. If you have any pluses on hearing, you may use it.
Which I make with disadvantage.
What was the roll again? Sorry.
Perception.
Perception.
Specifically for
Oh,
hearing.
no.
Alex, sleeping in
For
a room
hearing.
with transparent walls is very, very.
Ha! I am a god. Sorry.
I don't think I have anything for hearing.
Yeah, just give me a straight perception. I just was letting you know that this is a hearing perception roll. Sylvia, who sleeps very restlessly every night. Because of her background, she hears things kind of scrabbling around outside, and in this particular case, let's see, Riz, I'm going to just I'll skip yours. During the time that she hears this sound, your sixth sense, as it were, of something bothering you is at its peak, and you find yourself more and more wishing you could get out for some fresh air.
Yeah, Victor starts to kind of fidget a lot, and is he doesn't really seem like himself, and at this point, he's drooling.
Jason would also hear sounds, which he probably would think were all the changelings outside. But anyway, Jason, what would you react as you hear noises? It's not like a whole bunch of things or like a pack of wolves. It's like a single individual. Occasionally you hear a footstep or whatever.
Well, I'm in my tiny hut. It's somewhat well hidden, and I know it's my only good defensive position. Also, wait, if I remember correctly, Victor's in the same room as us, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to position myself back to a wall.
There is no real wall because if you pass through it, you'll step out of it.
Oh, I was under the impression it was just like a.
No, it's a dome of force that is opaque from the outside and invisible from the inside.
The people from outside cannot get into the force, but you can step out of it.
Yeah, and the only way to break the spell, break the bubble entirely, is if Sylvia steps out of the hut.
No worries. I understand it a little better now.
Yeah.
I remember it being a actual tiny hut. I guess that was another version. Alex is going to position himself so Victor is on one side of him, and The sound is 45 degrees from him. Pole arm in hand, prepared for whatever is going to happen next. Guy sleeping in an unprotected position like this visually has left him entirely on edge.
So Victor says there's someone here. Strahd may or may not be here, but the man that I must kill, I am certain that he is. Regardless of what happens from here, he needs to die.
And he will. But you cannot reveal yourself right now.
I am trying.
Do you need to be restrained?
He considers this, and he says, I am not sure if I can be restrained, but it may be a good idea. I can break out if I have control of my mind, but if I do not, I suppose I cannot, perhaps. Please, do it.
Alright, I grab my 50 feet of rope and I'm gonna start tying him up and did we take your casket?
No, I think we left it somewhere unless we had room to actually fit it in here.
Yeah,
It's a 10-feet dome, so I mean.
Oh, that probably wouldn't be enough then.
Yeah.
Or not enough room. Alright, so yeah, I'll just tie him and I don't know, do we have anything heavy?
You could sit on him.
I feel like you're calling me fat right now.
No, well, I mean,
Because
in terms of muscle weight, you're the heaviest out of the group.
Fat with
You're
a
like,
PH.
you know, you're
Where am I? Yeah, I'm at 300
Weightlifter.
pounds.
yeah, you're a weightlifter.
I feel like you're calling me the fat kid in this group right now.
You're simply the big
That's Alex
kid.
after too much cake.
Okay.
Alright, so what I will do then, so yeah, I'll tie him up. I will lay him down on the ground if he's willing.
Yeah,
Otis uses a short rest.
He kind of like sees where Dirok is going with this and doesn't particularly want to be sat on, but he cooperates anyway, grudgingly.
I'm not going to. If I have to, I will. What I'm going to do is I am going to set up my hunting trap on one side. And I am going to kind of lean, like I'm going to sit next to him and lean kind of towards him on the other side. So one side has me, the other side has a hunting trap that's going to snare him, I guess.
Yeah, Victor is at this point just like drooling kind of from both corners of his mouth and like twitching as if he's struggling and then stopping himself from struggling against the restraints.
I'll take his
Give
his
me
blood
a-
skin.
Give me a dexterity or, well, let's see, an acrobatics or athletics roll against the grappling, basically. Victor.
Oh, he is too. Okay.
Are you
Oh,
rolling?
Whoa! Okay, so he starts unraveling the ropes and pushing them off and heading for the door.
I am going to tackle him and I'm going to sit on him.
Epotus mounts the horse when it arrives.
All right, the POTUS is on his horse.
So
And Victor is trying to escape out of the hut. Dirok, give me
Yep,
a strength, an athletics or acrobatics roll against him.
against that 21, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
Right, but I'm going to give
do
you
it.
one chance to do it.
Yep. So then here's a question: can I rage? I will take any kind of buffs I can get, and I know I get strength advantage if I
I don't
rage.
know. I mean,
I don't think that there's any conditions here unless somebody's going to
Time.
attack you. But yeah, that would be stretching it just a little bit. Um, uh,
I mean, look at it. I don't think I
Victor?
have to actually be in combat.
Victor, are you striking him?
Yeah, I have to be in combat, so.
No, probably not. Victor, like at this point, he would be taking on kind of like a hunched posture and kind of like flexing his fingers. It would sort of bring to mind sort of your encounters with kind of the creatures at the coffin shop.
So,
Oh
let's see.
boy.
Hold on. I got
Alex is
one.
going
I
to
got one
recognize
move though.
this basically immediately, and he's going to tackle it. Or he's going to try and off.
I think I know. I think I may know. I don't have to actually physically use it though. So he's not up yet, right? Like he was still taking off his ropes.
Yeah, and he like got
I
out
think
of the ropes.
busted
He's out of the
it.
ropes. Yeah, he's
It's just
busted out of the ropes.
hulked
But,
out.
but he's now hunched down
All right.
in almost like a wolf posture, preparing to leap out of the hut.
I take out my holy blessed stake, and I'm gonna press it against him. I got a holy blessed stake from the father from Veloki village.
How would this react on
Petrovich.
you? Yeah, how would this react on you, Victor?
Yeah, I'm not gonna actually stab him with it. I'm gonna use it like like a branding cross or something like that on him.
Just hit him in the neck or something like that.
If I could in the chest, but yeah, anywhere that would be like a center mass against him.
All right, first
Like
of all,
Victor dresses really heavily. I'm not sure if you just press it against him how much he'll be aware of it, especially in his current state. But if he is aware of it, he would definitely find it like repugnant.
all right, first thing I want is give me any of your weapon rolls, Dirok, so that I can see what your attack, we'll call it, how good it is. And Victor,
I would assume it'd probably be closer to a javelin, so we'll go with the javelin. Oh no!
You dropped it.
I hit myself with it instead.
yeah, yeah.
I'm confused.
Everything is rolling over, and Victor is just crazed, and you are not able to touch him on the skin. Victor is able
I'm gonna.
he's starting
Sorry.
out of the hut. Go ahead. What are you going to do, Sylvia?
I'm gonna do something extremely stupid, extremely crazy. Using the end of the rapier to cut the palm of her hand, she's going to look at Alex
Oh,
and
no.
Durak and go, "Don't let him kill me," and shove her hand into his face now that it is bleeding.
Yeah, I think Victor
Interesting.
would go for that.
Okay. So, this one
We're all
we're
gonna be creatures of the night by the end of this, aren't we?
The whole party.
I'm going to have to do some research, or Victor's going to have to tell me what his research was about your what would happen if you did bite someone with the curse in mind.
To turn them, they have to actually be like reduced to 0 HP by a bite. Is how it works in just D&D mechanic terms. Generally, in the kind of mythology that I prefer to go with, it involves them actually ingesting some of the vampire's blood. So him just drinking from someone and them being alive afterwards doesn't result in them, ending up as a vampire. Mechanically, him drinking someone to unconsciousness is what would convert them in D&D terms.
Yeah, because she is a willing creature, so that's why I'm debating this, and it has to be a willing creature or a grappled creature. So you would have to then reduce her hit points to 0. So you.
At the moment, I currently got 25, so don't let me die.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
I might have the. No, I don't have the full description on here, but it's in the monster manual.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it here in front of me. It's basically the target's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken, and you regain equal hit points to that amount. The reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. If the target dies and its effect is reduced to 0, then the rest of the stuff takes effect. So basically, give me a bite attack if you are cooperating with the willing creature and biting her.
Yep.
Okay, so that does hit Sylvia. Sylvia, you have taken 8 piercing damage and 9 necrotic damage.
8
Ouch.
and 9.
I believe your max hit points are reduced by 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Victor
yes.
just like leaps at Sylvia, and I won't go into great detail because of our intended audience, but he is just zeroed in on the wound, like biting.
And she's basically just took the palm of her hand and smashed it into his face. That's basically what happened on her.
Yeah, and he basically took the bait and is now attacking Sylvia. He's basically somewhat mindless at this moment and is only thinking about the food in front of him. He seems to be less in control than he usually is. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you roll for your initiative, but only so we can keep track of who's doing what on these things. So let me get a token here because there's somebody else going on.
So is this
Alright, so-
for all 4 of us?
Yeah, everybody involved, including Vlad, if he thinks at some point he might come out of the
I
statue.
am stuck in a statue.
Vlad's
There is
there. He
nothing
went,
I can do.
You decided to hide in a fucking statue and trust me.
let's set-
I
let's
didn't
set- let's
think
set the
that the
scene.
vampire was going to start
Let's set-
attacking people.
Let's set the scene. There's the healer who is currently on ice, and then there's the paladin who may be making a very bad decision. And then there's
The bard who made the worst one yet.
Oh, hold on. The rest of the party
is
is
rolling?
well. It doesn't matter. Even if I did something, I couldn't get into the hut because I wasn't in the hut when Sylvia cast the spell.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
I have no icon on my screen to do anything with.
Same here.
Yes, that's right. Excuse me. Let me get you your players out here. I will just line them up at the bottom down
For
at the south of the village. I'm just going to line
this
them
Alright.
up.
sake,
So just to double check, so I can apply this to my character sheet right now. So the necrotic damage would decrease my maximum hit points by
Yes.
9.
Yes. Until this gets cured, you are
Alright.
down 9 maximum hit points. Whoops.
Alright,
For
so
the
hold on a
sake-
second.
of hoping I can do something, I will roll one more perception check at disadvantage to see if I can hear anything that's going on.
1 second. I'm trying to bring up a calculator because math and me are not friends.
Yeah,
That's pretty
basically, like if you were at like 20 of 20 hit points and this bite came in with 8 and 9, a total of 17, you would
Mhm.
end up at 3 out of 11 hit points.
Alright, so
You take
from
all
30
the damage, and then your max is also reduced by the necrotic part.
So alright, so wait, so I take like the max amount of damage from the 2 numbers and then minus the 9 from the max?
Yes.
Oh, I am so screwed then. Alright, so out of 33 I'm now 24 at max. And let's see here. I left off at 25 HP. Minus that fancy 9. And minus that fancy 8.
are you down?
No, I've got 8 hit points left, boyos.
So one more bite and you're basically toast.
Yeah!
Did I hear something? Because that
Maybe
rest-
D-Rock should have been the target here.
I will. I will say, my perception roll at disadvantage was a 20, and the
And-
party, all of this going on is not too far away from me.
That's right. You would have heard the scuffling and sounds from within the hut.
Okay, in that case, I will roll initiative for myself.
And you should all be able to now roll initiative.
Clank, 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 clank.
Why is it?
Where's my icon?
Why does that say 5
mean-
for party? Somebody click the party token.
Because it's the only,
And
it's
it's a
the
20.
only token I have.
No,
Victor.
down at the bottom of the village, the south of the village, all your
Yeah.
tokens are lined up.
Initiative. Wop wop. Oh god, I'm at a 6 too. This is gonna be amazing.
That's even less. You want
Like
me
I
to
said,
keep
clank, clank,
Oh, I
clank,
still
clank,
go,
clank.
I still,
You
I
want
still
me to
go for a
keep
victor,
that?
so I may have a chance to save myself.
Do you want me to keep that, or do you want me to put it at the 5 it was at?
I put it at the 5. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5. Who is not on there? Alex.
I did that. Selected it.
Uh,
and roll initiative. I rolled
Oh
it.
yeah, he rolled before the thing was. He had a 14.
Oh, okay.
And then later I re-rolled
yeah.
with a 17. Like, or is that not going to
Yeah, you didn't click on your icon again to make it count.
So what was the
Certainly
first?
did, but
What
okay.
was the first roll that you made?
The roll was. First roll was.
Thought the first roll you did was a. Oh yeah, there it is, 14.
14? Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know where 12 came from.
No, you're fine.
All right. Only Victor hears a voice in his mind that is urging him to come out of the tent, but at the moment he is resistant to it. Dirok, what are you doing with this scrappling that's going on with Victor and Sylvia?
Victor's like, I got mine, and you find your own.
Oh my god. You turds.
Oh, the entendre is rich tonight.
Oh, you goddamn turds.
Keeping up with the wrestling theme, I am going. He's standing now, right?
No, I've like bowled over Lynn.
Yeah,
Or
he's
Sylvia.
he's like on
Oh,
top
but you.
of her,
So you're.
grabbing at her hand and
So you're
probably
back-
biting and licking it.
Question.
Yeah.
Question. When you hit her, did you knock her out of the dome?
Probably not. No,
I'm
I'd probably
saying
Okay,
no
good.
at this
take you
point.
straight down.
No, I'm saying at
Okay.
this point you managed to keep him
It-
in the dome.
Okay.
His back
No,
is
no.
exposed to me, though, right?
No,
Yes.
here's. I'm making sure that Sylvia herself is still in the dome.
Yeah.
Okay, because if she gets pushed out, the spell immediately ends.
That's right. Everybody is still in the dome that started in the dome
Okay.
at this point.
That's why I just want to double check, because if the dome was broken, that would give Vlad the and Apotis the ability to get to them. That's what I just wanted to make sure of.
All right. And so you said Victor's back is exposed to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Victor's like a mass of like leathers and like the big wolf skin and shit.
All right, Victor, you're going to Suplex City. I'm going to grapple him.
Remember, I'm still attached.
You're not going to be able to be a part of this. I think you would be too much weight for him to hold by his mouth. But yeah, I'm going to grapple him. So that would be athletics.
Yes.
Yes!
Okay.
Suplex City. I am grappling him. I am lifting him up, and I am throwing him back.
Okay. You are now grappled. I'm not going to give you a roll on this because you were completely involved with biting Lynn, biting Sylvia. So you
It's all
are.
good.
You don't have a role to defend yourself with on this particular round. You would be able to try to break the grapple on the next round. So, Dirok now has
Yeah,
grappled
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah, Victor
Well, are you
like
grappling
hits
him?
the floor and his like hooded mask goes like sliding away from him, and he's like struggling. He's got Sylvia's blood on his face. He's just
Are
like,
you
"Ah!"
grappling him, or are you throwing him out of the tiny hut?
No, everybody is.
No, I'm not throwing them out of the tiny hut. I'm still inside. I'm basically doing a belly to back suplex.
Remember, this is a 20
Grabbing
foot in
him.
diameter thing. It's a fairly big room.
10 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 10
10
foot
foot.
radius.
Yeah. Oh yeah, radius. Sorry, my bad. Woo!
So
And
Oh,
It's
10 foot
not
radius?
bad.
Oh, we could have had that coffin then.
yeah. It's a
I
20
thought
foot
it
diameter room.
was.
Yeah. So that's why I said it wouldn't fit real well in the Burgermeister's house if you tried to put it up inside of there. But yeah, he has basically thrown Victor off of Sylvia, but everybody is still in at this point. So POTUS, you made some very bad decisions. What are you planning on doing?
Way to go.
He's going up to the Abbey.
God damn it.
I'm
sorry, I
Trying to get you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know your name was Sylvia.
He's just looking for death right now.
He
Damn.
is.
Apparently, we are going to finish our rounds, and then we are going to stop. Alexander, what are you doing in the middle of all this tussling mess that's going on in the hut?
Can Alex still hear the walking around outside?
It would be overwhelmed by the noise inside the hut.
Ugh.
Suplex her!
Also,
Just remember-
Sylvia, your health bar. Your fucking health bar is longer than the entire team.
How? What?
Oh yeah, your health bar goes to infinity right now.
That might have been weirdly because when I was adjusting things, like I had tried to
It says
mark
you
that I
have
still had 33 max.
you have
Sylvia has
eight.
ascended.
You have 8 of 1,375 hit points.
Yes, no. I wish that was the case. No, I had done. I had marked also in there that I originally started with 33 out of 24 hit points, and I guess that's what. I guess the weird thing just tried to math it out right now. Just trying to make sure I remembered what my max hit points were.
Yeah, at this point, what were your original hit points that you started with?
My original max HP was 33. It's now down to 24 because of the necrotic damage.
All right, I'm fixing your
And
bar right now. And all you
I thought I just fixed it.
no, it had you at 1,375 hit points. So I've corrected that.
Weird.
And
Okay.
you're going to have to remember that you are down the 9. So that's just something you're going to
Yeah.
have to remember on that.
No. Yeah, no, I just went back in and changed it to the 24. I marked it in my bio that I had 33 max before being
Okay,
bitten.
and you can use the temporary hit points on your core page to give yourself notes
Yeah.
for adjustment on that. You can use that. All right,
Mhm.
so Alexander is doing what?
Okay, I was asking if I could still hear the stuff. So I feel like I need to separate Sylvia away from Victor, and I'm going to try and do just that. I'm going to run up and I'm going to grab Sylvia by the shoulders and try and pull her back.
Okay.
Victor should be off of her right now,
Yeah,
so
Victor-
that
I
should
am
be.
off.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they disconnected.
No, he is currently grappled by.
No, I
Dirac.
I suplexed him off.
Yeah, he's fully grappled by Dirac. But you can either pull Sylvia back or you can step in front of her, whichever you choose to do.
Do you not do that thing to Vic where you grab him by the back of the neck and the dog just kind of goes limp?
So Alex kind of understands exactly what's going on here. And Sylvia has a good idea here. Except he knows that cutting his hand so it's bleeding is really a poor choice of things to do. So I'm gonna go for somewhere on his arm.
You're making this so much harder for me right now. Why is everyone's name Sylvia? Vlad decided to go off into a statue on his horse. POTUS is running off. Alex is making bad decisions. Sylvia's making bad decisions.
I think I will rename this episode as the Knight of Bad Decisions. Sylvia, what
This is
are
either
you
bad-
doing?
this
I'm
is
the
either-
only one that.
This is either bad decisions or the best decision we're about to
No,
find
see,
out.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's making the same decision.
I've made a great decision in the heat of the moment, making sure Victor didn't leave the hut.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
made a great decision. It's just piss poor that I also have like some of the lowest HP of the group.
Yeah, no. Hindsight, it was a great decision. We just didn't. It would screw you over that much. That's why it's considered a bad decision.
Good intentions, bad decisions.
Yeah, like,
Yours is
one
the
more fight,
best
we-
of the bad decisions.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one more fight, we might have had 2 vampires in the party.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, you
That
have
could
to
have been a
bury her in the
possibility.
ground for her to
True.
come back.
yeah, and there, we
Yeah.
also have a guy who appears to be able to resurrect the dead, and there's a lot of things going on here. So there's things, but anyway, Sylvia, Alexander has cut himself. What are you now doing?
Oh wait, no. I'm
Uh,
specifically going to be standing between Sylvia and the rampaging vampire.
Okay, you're standing between. What is Sylvia doing?
I'm gonna think real quick because I had an idea, but I realized that might not be a great idea. But yeah, no, I think I got this. I got this. Actually, just make sure this is not concentration. Nope, it's not good. I'm going to first action cast sleep on Victor. Let's see here. I'm gonna do it at a 4th level.
Okay.
I would like to point out that sleep is an area effect that affects the target with the lowest amount of HP first.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
everyone...
going to be me.
Wouldn't it be Sylvia?
It's gonna be Sylvia.
No,
Oh.
it wouldn't hit. It wouldn't hit myself. It wouldn't hit myself though.
No, it doesn't.
Oh
hit-
no, wait. Actually, no. I have to cancel that because he's also immune to it. I'm gonna cancel that because I forgot to read my own spell and realized. Oh wait, he's immune. Undead.
It's going to be.
Yay!
Yeah, I was going to ask Victor. Undead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I caught that myself, but I'm gonna actually change that to casting Hold Person at a 4th level.
Okay. So in order to get out of this,
Um,
Victor, you will have to do 2 turns worth of saves. One is to break the grapple, and one is to break the spell. So what's your DC?
What's your save?
15.
He would have broken it on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You overcame her whole person, so you are only grappled. Vlad, what are you doing? You hear this uproar in the tent.
Oh,
I hear this.
I was gonna say before I did that, I was also going to hit myself with Healing Word, so I'm not at 8 HP.
Okay. Go ahead and cast your healing word.
so I'll just-
I'm trying to
yeah,
push this because
third.
we're past.
Yeah, no, I know that. I just wanted to get my health up before something else killed me.
Vlad, what are you doing?
Vlad rides out of the statue over because they're not the hut is not very far away from the statue, is it?
No, it's
but
very close.
you're able to
Not
enter.
on
And,
Especially not on a horse. So what happens is Vlad rides up, sees that there's some sort of commotion, well, hears that there's some sort of commotion inside the hut, rides to the outside and pretty much bounces off of it because it can't enter. Then casts Calm Emotions, which does not require me to see.
spells can't go through the dome. That's why everyone was safest in the hut.
Good.
People
Except
didn't wanna
you're not.
go.
Except you're not.
I said
No.
we technically are safest in the dome, except Victor went hungry, but you know.
Yeah. And they are all still in the dome. Vlad, would you give me one more perception roll now that you are out of the statue?
Okay.
Okay, through the trees you see a dark form moving, crawling along in a way that only is reminiscent of the creatures that you saw in the coffin shop.
Just one of them?
Just one. And So what are your actions going to be since you can't throw the other stuff?
I am going to ride down this creature. How far away is it? Is it crawling towards the tent?
It is. It is kind of like semicircling around the area. Let me actually show him on this so that you can see what's going on, and I'll show you what is actually happening here. This creature is going back and forth like this. He is staying away from the immediate area of the pond, but he is moving back and forth through the trees. The hut would be about here somewhere.
Okay. I am not going to ride down that thing. With my perception, do I also see a POTUS? He seems kind of far away for that.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, because the perception was what was going on in your immediate area, not what was going on up the hill. He's partway up the hill.
Vlad will begin casting magic circle around the hut.
Okay? So put
What does
that
that
up on
do?
the screen so that we know what it is for next week. And the last turn will be Victor himself. What are you doing when all this is going on? Are you going to try to break free?
Ah,
I'm apparently very sweet.
feed! Must get out! Sire! Sire must die! Ugh! And he tries to break out.
Yes!
Completely
does.
still in the grapple.
He is still
Yeah, I don't think you can roll that low.
grappled. I don't know how to reverse a nat 1 on a grapple. What would happen? But you are very grappled. Yes. You may be.
Look and hit his face on the floor.
Yeah, you're.
Can I say that?
If you can bleed, your
Sorry.
nose is bleeding where you hit it on the ground trying to break out. Broken nose and all. And that is where we will end it tonight. Ippotus is riding into hell, coming to the abbey. Vlad is attacking hell in the village, and Victor is hell inside the hut. That is where we will end it for tonight. And so everybody wave goodbye, and we'll see what happens next week. Goodbye, all.
Later, folks.
I still stand by my most awesome decision, and the POTUS should make it the worst one.